yɛbɛhu yɛbɛhu sɛ ewiem yɛ dark na ewiem yɛ dark a ɔbɛhu sɛ na moon aba bepi kanea ketewa bi a onyame de atua ɛsoro hɔ na akyiri no ɔbɛhu sɛ stars bebree a wontumi nkan emu akɛseɛ ɛne mu nketewa ebiara nko ne shape wohu ane sɛ na sɛ ɛsoro no move motion asɛ ɛkɔ asɛ ɛba proportion a ɛwɔ soro hɔ stars no bi yɛ kɛseɛ ebi yɛ nketewa wohu colors ahodoɔ tɔda bi a na yɛ ewiem ayɛ blue fɛfɛɛfɛ tɔda bi a na yɛ white tɔda bi a na yɛ gloomy na yɛ dark na yɛsɛ nsuo bɛtɔ ne nyinaa ɛyɛ ade a ɛkasa kyerɛ yɛn sɛ onyame ne tumi so na kyerɛ onyame animuonyam emmiena no na ɛnkasa ne so asɛm no yɛte wɔ yakoma mu na yɛte ɛwɔ yɛadwene mu sɛ onyame yɛhu onyame greatness sɛ na ade bɔɔ no baako pɛ no a yɛyi no a ɛyɛ ɛsoro no ɛkasa kyerɛ yɛn Bible ka wɔ Genesis 1:2 hɔ no ɔsɛ onyame kyɛ ɔka sɛ nkyerɛmu no ɔka sɛ nsuo ɔkyɛ nsuo mu ebi mmra asase so ebi ngɔ soro nti no sɛ nkyerɛmu no nsuo wɔ soro nso ehu sɛ pressure no a nsuo no wɔ no ɛde asase no abɛhwe fam da yɛn wɔ ha nyinaa yɛtena plane mu na ɛbaeɛ sɛ wote plane mu na sɛ wokɔ Ghana na sɛ wohwɛ firmament wohwɛ sky no wohwɛ sɛ de city a wotumi hu sɛ wow onyame so onyame yɛ kɛseɛ onyame ne ho yɛ hu na ɛma wo hope ɛma wo de wo ho to onyame a ɔte saa no ho na ɛhambo wo sɛ wobɔ onyame a ɔte saa n'anim a ɛwɔ sɛ wobrɛ wo ho ase sɛ woto onyame ne din a ɛwɔ sɛ wode ne die a ɛsɛ ɛma no ɛsiane sɛ ɛnyɛ yɛ tipɛn no na yɛntimi ne dɔ ɛne ne kɛseyɛ ne ho mmɔborɔ na dɔyɛ ɛne ne maniyɛ no yɛntimi nte aseɛ saa adɔyɛ a onyame ayɛ yɛn sɛ ɔde soro abɛsɛn hɔ ɛma yɛn nsuo ɛma yɛn wia gases ɛwɔ soro deɛ yɛntimi mu den nitrogen oxygen carbon dioxide mpo water vapor saa nneɛma wɔ nyinaa na ɛsustain yɛn wɔ asase yi so sɛ nyɛ onyame adom ne mmɔborɔ hu na ɔde saa nneɛma nyinaa sensɛn wiem na de bɔ mu baako pɛ a yɛhu a ɛnka me no nka bi a yɛwie sa ɛno nti no ɔsoro ka Nyankopɔn animuonyam na wiem kyekyerɛ ne nsa no adwuma no ɛde kyerɛ yɛn ma yɛhu sɛ yɛn nyame no a yɛsom no ɔnyɛ nyam ketewa na ɔkyerɛ Bible kyerɛ yɛn sɛ ɔde n'anum nsɛm ɛne yɛ nneɛma nyinaa nneɛma a yɛntimi wobɔ din yɛde yɛn hu ne deɛ yɛmfa yɛn hu nyina onyame de n'anum nsɛm na bɔɔ na meme ne wo koraa deɛ wɔmfa n'anum nsɛm na bɔɔ yɛn o sɛdeɛ gyidie tie no ɔno ahyɛ da tena ase ɛna ɔde fam da tie ɛna ɔnyinoo yɛn ɛna ɔhome nkwa egu yɛn mu ɔde nimdeɛ ahyehyɛ yɛn tiri mu ɔde abilities talents ɛne nneɛma bebree ɛna wayɛ yɛn unique obiara yɛ different obiara yɛ unique onyame bɔɔ yɛn wɔ ne suban so ɔde ne honhom hyɛ yɛn mu ɔbɔ yɛn ama yɛn yɛhunu sɛ wɔyɛ yɛn soronko ɛkyerɛ ɔdɔ a ɔde dɔ yɛn na ne nyinaa akyi no ɔsustain yɛn ɛde homeda yɛ ɔde ama yɛn a ɛyɛ adebɔ ɛkae yɛn sɛ yɛn nyame a yɛsom no ɔno na ɔbɔɔ saa nneɛma nyinaa a yɛnya so a yɛdi so a ɛno nti no ɔhyɛ yɛn sɛ yɛnsom no ɛyɛ de a wɔsɛ som yɛn bo na yɛkura mu yie na yɛsom no ne die mu sɛde mekae no onyame bɔɔ yɛn no ɔyɛ adeɛ nyinaa wie na ɔbɔɔ yɛn no ɔde nneɛma akyerɛkyerɛ yɛn mu nti sɛ homeda ba sei na sɛ ɛba n'anim na yɛbɛsom a ɛyɛ ana yɛn nneɛma a ɔde ahyehyɛ yɛn mu ayɛ yɛn talent yɛn nimdeɛ ɛne nneɛma ahodoɔ nyinaa no ɔhwehwɛ yɛn sɛ yɛde bɛyi ne din ayɛ ɛyɛ aba onyankopɔn sɛ yɛba n'anim homeda mu a it's not about obiara ɛnyɛ deɛ wonim yɛ ɛne deɛ wotumi yɛ kasa a wotumi ka ɛma ɛtɔ obi ani anaa ɛdwom bi a wotumi to na wotumi daadaa wɔn ne ɛma ɛyɛ obi dɛ na yɛka sɛ onipa wei deɛ ɔyɛ adeɛ it's not about you it's not about me it's not about obiara nemo onyankopɔn tumfo ono obo ade no ono na ya ba no enti no that test here me obese ye hwe no from the other angle so ye hu so osru na body mu ba ko no dan ni tumi ni kesi yedi na ehye ne monyama e wo se yesu so ebreyas ohin David ye otiase yi esense na adwuma na o ya so odwanhwefo no esre so na otie abonten eti na ohu osro opeje na ni na ohwe soro na ohu so osro ewo ho na ekire onyame kesiye ne tumi enenti ma ne nya ahotoso kesiye wo onyame mu enenti no abro de no hototo onyame kesiye n'anim onyam na humobro ne do ne mani ye ode ne ndo to ho nyina no hu so say me kra me ne hwan Psalms 8 you can move into to Psalms 8 verse 1 only David can or say erade ni ne rade enim ben na wodin ni asase nyina so wo a wodi wanmu onyam akata soro ohwe ni nyina o say erade wanmu onyam na wosoro no eno na mi hu no na ye wo na odi kata ho enye obi na de kata ho wo a wodi wanmu onyam akata soro o say nti se ohwe tere no say nti se me hwe osoro na me hwe won satia anu adwuma osane ne nsroma a wo erade wasiesie a me David me Alice any wo a wotie me o say odasani oni hwan me kura me hwan who am I who are you say ye pija ye ho onyame ni ohin David say ye humble ye ho say ba especially say bo onyame ani mu a umidem o say ye humble onyame ani na your response no should be a worship ye respond to onyame greatness and in a magnitude ye responded to it by worshiping him by humbling ourselves and worshiping him the creator onyame a obo ade na ode sa ewie mesensen ho eno nti so onyame de homeda mayen na ye koye ni mu a say the me kan ye no it's not about anybody it's not about anything we can do it's about God and it's about how we should humble ourselves and worship him your response to onyame greatness no to the glory of God no and it's a ye humble yourself na ya worship no and this ye kwanya ni amenim na ye sum na se ba se ye todwuma wontena se obe sorry esan so onyame ho dwom na woto onyame kesie ni greatness ho na woto ho dwom se ye bo mpaye a etode bi a yetimi na to kwa adwuma ye ne nyina e ba se ye bo mpaye a ye wa ho de pa se betimi abutu wa ho de pa se betimi asori nanso no na yeti ho na ye kasa na ye kasa ye pe to se de ne ya funa ebi netie nanso so ohin David said se mehwe osoro kwa pa wo ye no enema wo de atuatua soro ho edi shira me na me odasan me kra no me ne hwan na wo so wutie me no ne hwan ene to see who say ye nothing before onyame a ne wo say ye ya ne say ye respond by worshiping him now your worship no and so it should be done with humility or say you humble yourself before onyankopon na onyankopon na kase hu onim so ye kese na so oben bebre na odoye ode homeda no mai say emenye enhyira mai o kan se bi e wo Isaiah 40 verse 25 to 26 no or say na hwan na wo a wotie me ene me Alice o say hwan na wo de me Erade osoro nyakopon obo ade no otumfo onyame no o de me betoto no o say hwan na wo de me beto no hwan na medemo beto mo de me beto no ho o say okokro ni no ohi David na eka no o say onyakopon okokro ni no hwan na de no betoto no ho yentimi fo bi etoto no ho o say mo ani so enhwe osoro na mo hwe de obo yeinum de obo osoro ne obo nsuo ewia de obo osrane de obo nsroma de obo gases ahodo ayefa yeni hu de obo ewia na ekoto na esori na ehye na ma yaduane di na ma yahodin na ni nyina no se me ni so na yehwe ye no se me ni so na yehwe a yebehu onyame kese na yebehu na dom a edoso wenso edi so ma yekwan na eba nanim homeda ni ehu no se yeko onyame adom aye ne nsama onyame enhyira wo ne nsam onyame amuro aye ne nsama onyame ewo ne nsam na se ba ne saa yehu ne saa enhyira ayewo homeda mu yensa bekebe homeda bre a onyame ben ye bebre anopa sem ne se design of ages can send or see the edges of the Sabbath are guarded homeda fiti ase ene ne nkotoye no also ye guarded se kase bibi guarded a guarded I just say onwen enwen onyame dwen homeda fiti ase e de kosi homeda na wiye na enhyira ne adom bebre won nsem a oye ready so de bema and it is a wo boni bi a wo struggle with wo bibi a wo pese wo diso wo pe se wo som onyankopon na som no kremu na onim ho ahoden a butu sro nyame bro nyame ani mo homedem sro nyame no bema adom ne mo brohunu aye ne nsa ema na obishira yi me bible se rade di yewra homedem na odi ensema mayen yebehu onyame siro sitie yebe peki time so yebe observe na body and yebe osro nko a no po ye enough se ma yehu so onyame so onyame ye kese bebia mienu ana mensa hie bia no owo eno to say in person ye worship onyame say by virtual and I assume onyame oho enti bo onyame dinya Philippians 2 verse 12 and I will say by the mention of the name no to dinyina enkoto enya se with mitimi fie eno nti ye kan nyame asem a me ye de me pebia bidin komo biara me ye ne me pebia onyame anim na yewo onyame wo mama ye fa ni die a ese no ema no na dom ni nhyira wo homede no nsa bekabi edo nyame ase eda biara o ba ma ye hye yesu mi ase onyame nhyira mo titu ne first Ghana for eda mase some of them platform mama ya sorry so for near so pennyful women issues in pennyful nyame nhyira ye nyina se de na dom tie e wo Yesu Kristo de monte amen
Amen.
Amen.
Nyame nhyira ne message a wode ama yen the message me yehu se ema dru homeda ye wo ye ho twetwede bebre tama ye kwa asoro ne de ye sori anopa ye betwa ye ho saa from Friday no kopam Sabbath anopa na ye se wo homeda mu nti bra ye maame ama ye hu se ne onyankopon kase ye ne suban na nade yo sitie no o se edi obuo ne ferie ene som no ne chance kura se ye kwa asori a kasa tenten komodie niema ehu hia no eno na ye no homeda nti adofo no bra ye maame abomodi abie bibi so ade a kire yen e wo se ye bo ho mpaye wo se ye nyina yedi mu fo se du homeda ne kwan ya ye fa so kwa awurade anim no ya na asefem ye nkomodie niema ehu hia ne komo basa ne de akwa kwotena awurade anim ye bai kwase wo ye de ye kwa asore ye ko homeda nanso ne yankwa asore ya to homeda no kura dada from Sabbath no saa e be pem ne etiba sire me maame ata nyam che me hu se wo lai so ata me srew e pa cho ba bia woni se hoya mute yourself ne bom paye mayen e mai titiru ya ho keka de kwa awurade anim ye tom sini e konyame anim a ye beka sasa ti asore dem beka se di nkomo program ko so kwase ye sabe ye gina kageti anase ye gina mo bi ena ya ba so ye gina wonyankopon obo so ne asase nanim ne ye re free ye ho ti emra ne ye maame atwe ya agene sisu ante atanyam che ne sire ma be bia woni se hoya e bom paye ne boy ne nyame ho kronkron e man sakraye suban foforo emra ya abrabom ne yekọ n'anim a yankwa ankototo yenyankopon nase ante atanyam che ne sire bia woni hoya be bom paye mai baby ana ya na antiata wono ebi ana ehɔ nya dia sister Beatrice Boafo me so baby a wono so won so betimi am to self na 1 minute aka odi abompa ya amaya beda wase
Chama minha mãe Nyankopɔn abɔde wura Nyame a ɔsoro ne asase efiri wo nsam ɛbaae na wode ɛho tumi ne ne hyerɛn ɛkyerɛ yɛn so na wonam so sɛ wobɛbɔ yɛn na yɛho saa nneɛma yi na nka yɛahyɛ wɔ anuonyam nanso yɛfom wɔ na wahwɛ yɛn bɔne ho na daa ne daa wobiebie w'asɛm mu akyerɛ yɛn anwummerɛ yi homeda mu dɔn yi mu yɛda w'ase yɛhyɛ wɔ anuonyam da w'ase bebree sɛ wakaakae yɛn ɛwɔ wo tumi ne ahoɔden a wode bɔɔ adeɛ ho adeɛ nyinaa firi wo nsɛm ɛna ɛba yɛn nkyɛn ɛno nti yɛsrɛ wo ma yɛnya ahobrɛaseɛ yɛnya mu nteaseɛ sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a agya ebetumi ɛde ho aseda ne ayɛyie ama obrɛ ne brɛ mpɛn bebree yɛba wɔ anim a yɛde nea yɛyɛ pɛ ɛne nea yɛpɛ sɛ yɛyɛ ɛna ɛba wɔ anim ɛtɔ da ɛbrɛ wɔ sɛ yɛde kɔmyɛ ɛne ahobrɛaseɛ ba wɔ anim no yɛde kasa dedede nkɔmɔ ɛho hia adwene nsɛ ne mfra nea ɛnkyɛ wɔ anuonyam ɛne yɛde ba wɔ anim ɛbrɛ a yɛho sɛ wo na woyɛ ɔbɔ adeɛ na tumi nyinaa wɔ wo nsɛm yi yɛsrɛ wo pa wo kyɛw fa ho mfomsoɔ nyinaa kyɛ yɛ na afei ma yɛ adwen foforɔ sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a agya yɛbɛtumi adi wo nne na yɛde yɛn ho nne na woda kronkron so yɛtumi adi ne nne na yɛne wo hyia nso a yɛtumi adi yɛhyiamudie ani na Awurade dedeyɛ ne basabasayɛ yɛde afiri w'anim na yɛnya nhyira ne adom mmom sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a Awurade yɛbɛtumi aka wo maniyɛ akyerɛ afoforɔ bɛka yɛn ho na boa yɛn na hyɛ yɛn ma ɛwɔ akwan nyinaa mu na yɛtumi ayɛ nea ɛsɛ na ɛfata sɛ wo mba pa wɔ Yesu Kristo din mu amen
Amen.
Edasi Erensa abre yetoa yedwumadie no so Kristo mu ma yɛgye ezu obi anka be ma no nyinaa mu itu online na mo kasa monye so Kristo mu ma Kristo mu Amen. Ya wasi edi anamoko mesre na onua bi baby the day meeting line ya be distract enua ba no be program no because ade oba ne hia ye pa am se pani so ama ye adusua bebre o la yi so nti mesre wo baso a check your camera check your speaker se be ya o kasa no bibia no MSA program no sabre no e be ma nyuntofo na ma ye dwon ba ako ebra ye twa maame Eva Asamoah no de message na bre ye no e be se no nyuntofo na ma ye dwon ba ako na ye di tata edase Enyumre Erade apaw no a obekasa akyerɛ yɛn. Eye nuaba Eva Asamoah. Obeka bibi afa diabetes ho. Ekwan ye betimi abɔ yɛn ho ban afri diabetes ho. Ekwan so a yɛn betimi arevete no. Nti mesrɛ sɛ mama yɛn nyinaa nsisi na line no so ni kom. Medical yak opaso a check o microphone na so kasa no bia ka no wɔ no hwɛ hɔ. Na check camera no so. If you say be treat line so. But last week many used my education found to be a bala ya. Esrem ahobrasim na meka no mama yenhwɛ ye line no eyi. Yo sister Samoah, ye mame. Rade afuna emre esre rade se onka ho. So na obidi ni mama ye. That's amen untra amen.
Remember, moment there, Radia say, when I'm doing remove home. Any bumper or dear boy throughout the whole week. The rest has so at my I won't happy Sabbath, any aquaba, at the abandon of East Woman Ministries Zone Department Health Talk. Mr. say, you because I invite you for wait my share link no ama unye because topic I treating and you may who here parent no. Me did says all share ema unye a ebe bo no so enti share fama no. And yes so money will say live it was CB radio enti on tune in na on say me didn't Faustina Mason me North East Zone my ministry secretary. Na no see a nipa ebetse na nka e wo dwonto mu no ye sister Adwalabi or Queen's Church. Sister Adwawia, yes, Sister Salome Brown, New England Church, eso de ye opening prayer no ebe maye. Nti sabe be jai ha my sister Adwa, me pacho ye too. Amen. Amen. Start joining, I mean, sure. Start Solomon Patriot.
Agyinifoɔ ahobrɛaseɛ mu woma nyinaa yɛnkata yɛni na yɛmmɔ mpaeɛ. Yɛn Agya a wowɔ soro, Homeda wura, wɔma yɛda wo ase. Papa yɛma wo so kamfo yɛtontom wo yi wo din kronkron na yɛ. Wɔ dwumadie kunini a wodi asi hɔ nom ama zona yi mu ɛma anwummerɛ yi. Aseda nka wo din. Sɛ wonam wo tumi ne wawanwa kwan so. Aboaboa wo mma dodoɔ yi nyinaa no edi yɛn abɛhyia mu wɔ la yi so. Wei kyerɛ sɛ woyɛ onyame ɔbaatan pa ampa w'ani kuu ma ho. Wasɛm ne sɛ hwɛ yiye a ɛyɛ ɛne fɛ a ɛyɛ sɛ agyidifoɔ bɛbom ahyia awo Awurade Yesu Kristo wo din mu. Wasɛm ne kyerɛ sɛ baabi a baasa na baanu ahyia na woka wɔn ho. Ɛno nti ɛfa a ɛtɔ so wɔ yɛ dwumadie mu no. Yɛsrɛ sɛ ma honhom kronkron ɛnsane na ɛmmɛka yɛn ho. Amadwumadie a yɛbɛdi yɛtumi adi de ahyɛ wo Awurade Yesu Kristo wo din kronkron animuonyam. Ɛfɛ edi kan no wode wasɛm a yɛyɛ kwan so han ɛne ɛnaase kanea no ama yɛn. Yɛsrɛ sɛ ma yɛntumi ɛmfa ɛmmɔ yɛn bra. Yɛde wase papaapa nyansa nimdie adom a abro so a wode bi adom zona yi mu ma ministry panyimfoɔ a wodi sa dwumadie yi eto wɔn akoma so sɛ ɔmo mmra na Awurade yɛntimi ɛmɛsua sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a yɛbɛtumi abɔ yɛn ho ban sɛ kɔba sɛ saa yare bi eto ɛwɔ kwan mu a papa na senka wo din hwɛ sɛnea wode wobɔ wo wiase na nka yare nka ho na ɛfɛ ɛhahama na wode ma yɛ senka yɛndi bɔne enti ɛna yare ati atese ɛwɔ wiase mu ɛmfomso biara wo ma yɛyɛ ɛwɔ adidie ho ɔnom a ɛde yare aba ati atese ɛwɔ wiase mu yi woyɛ onyame a wotimi de mfomso kyerɛ so sefa yɛn mfomso ɛkyɛ yɛn daa.
Amen.
Thank you mpo ababa enka ma yɛn kɔtɔ saa ɔhaw yi mu na enka mpo no yakɔpɛ ano aduro wutumi adi nyinaa yɛ ɛne ti bɔ ma ho ban efi yare ho na sɛ enka mpo yɛbɛhyia se ya na enka nye wawurade wɔn nsɛm a ɛma nkwa no ɛna nka yɛba abɛkyɛ na so akɔba sa esan so ɔsɛfoɔ no ɔtweaseɛ no ɛda so bɛn yɛn ɛne ti ɔto yare ne bi egu ma binom so nanso no wo de animonyam nka wo din sɛ wasiesie no wayɛ nhyehyɛ wama akunyifoɔ ne nimdeɛfoɔ ɛwɔ asafo yi mu a ɔmo kyerɛkyerɛ yɛn sɛ kɔba sɛ enya yare no pa kwan yɛ bɛfa so a ɛbɛboa yam yɛtimi di atena ase esan sɛ ehia hoɔden yɛhia sɛ yɛdi mu yɛsi pisita na yɛtimi asomo Kristo ayɛ w'adwuma sɛ yɛbɛtimi de wo ho nsɛm na kɔ wiase afa na nyina kɔka akyerɛ afoforo agye akra ma wa yɛhia hoɔden yɛhia pomden ɛne nti papa wo ma yɛso sɛ fa bi dom yɛn saada ɛdɔn ne mmerɛ yi mu yi onimdefoɔ ɔbaasima a wasiesie na ma yɛn a ɛyɛ yɛ maame yɛn ho kani ɛne enuaba Eva Asamoa yɛde ne hyɛ wɔn nsa.
Amen.
Wa nyansa ne adom ahyɛ wo mu ma yɛsɔ sɛ fa bi dom wɔ abaawa ne a wɔsuasua so ɔde bɛkyerɛ so sɛ ma ne wura mfi bi ma ɔntimi ne yɛn kyɛ na Awurade yɛ a yɛtie yi nso no ma yɛntimi kaikae ne a ɔbɛkyerɛ yɛ yi na sɛ ɛto yɛn ɔkwan mu a yɛtimi de abɔ yɛn ho ban wo sa yare ɔhonhom mu no ne yɛde no so siesie ho nam fa mu deɛ na timi ama yakwanto yi ayɛ mmra ama yɛn dom ka yɛ ho afofra ɛsɛ sɛ no mu tie saa nsɛm yɛ ma nkwa ne ma pomudi ɔmɛka yɛ ho no wankasa bobɔ ma beti na fa ɔmo bɛka yɛ ho ne yɛn nyinaa yɛntimi momo endi dwumadie yi ɛmfa nhyɛ wo di animuonyam we na ɔma yɛsrɛ wo ɛdɔn yi mu ɛwɔ wadom mu nti amen.
Amen. Ansa na sister Eva beba no yɛbɛkenkan biribi every 3 John verse 2 ɔse ɔdɔfoɔ meyi mpaeɛ sɛ ade nyinaa mu ɛnsi wo yie na nyɛ ahoɔden sɛdeɛ ɛsi wo kra yie no amen. And the topic sister Eva treat ama yɛn no wato den sɛ diabetes Way to prevent and delay the onset of type 2 diabetes. Now, sister, yeah, on your Rebecca say, or your inpatient diagnosis diabetes management nurse practitioner, or science way a certified diabetes educator, or your wife, or your mother, and also your present Long Island NAGSDA check secretary. Didn't they when say in dada, and you'll be a young sister, Eva Asamwa. Mr. saying in tea. In him say, you have questions. Or casting in area, you better find you wait me a day your questions no abba. No, it's me a year no am I. Mr. Eva, if I shall eat you.
Nyaba fosti midawasi bebre nyami shrawo mida eye North East Zone Women Ministry mpanyinfo ase for this wonderful opportunity na mempai bone say nyame beye adom na enani bi free ha no nyenya bibi kakra ye de ebebo ye ho ban mesan so ma ye nyina ye ho happy Sabbath intino said the enwane kenkan free 3 John 2 no said ye minkomu pi wadi ka said nyame emra ye no ye hwehwe say be prosper in world ne so many things no san so na nyame so hwehwe say ye be ye no ne ye nya den good health e wa bra ye sa nyame ni nyina tino me share my screen no bra me be share ase no. If I show set my screen there. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and to say the minyanidi can topic no diabetes. You be require you be faswa you be prevent it, and I say you be also delay the onset of type 2 diabetes. Diabetes gumwa would be brave, but we picked the type 2 no because say enone the then you be we no near who say enone adia and I say the most common one no. And I say adia you bet me no na you bet me aye be afa ho you bet me aye de esi ano kwan compared to the other types ewo no. Into your facts kakra. What topic now make I say delay ways to delay the onset and so. Onset obi bet me bisa say na ye prevent here. Identify na ye say talking about say ye benya. There are so many other things and I say factors be or why na untimi nya ho hwe e ma ye. Those factors na non-modifiable factors be to say be a race and genetic predisposition or sanya mana itimi ma we at risk for diabetes and sanya man untimi nya ho hwe. However no say we utu na mo ene ne me here ene ma obetimi aye we no ne kwan so a even though no benya yare ne krampo na so benya diabetes na e be late onset e be delay no into ema no ento wontem to say obi a obedi 20 and I said 30 e benya diabetes as to say obenya diabetes when you're like 85 at that point no we bega say who cares you 85 you live your life into at 85 no kwana goals ne your funny say about medications ne might be brain na it's even limited by then and I will live your life to the fullest. Into the we yes mana obi to me a delay onset na into that topic now your cause a prevent and also ways to delay it. The other fact kakra yaba Chrome Hanum say over 88 million Americans or more are diagnosed with prediabetes and yabeka prediabetes once and be brave because it's the most common form and it also lead to type 2 and also so na say what statistics and as a fact yeah media to see I say 1 in every 3 adult Chrome Hanum saying pre-diabetes, but out of that number no so no 8 out of 10 and a wa umuni into the pre-diabetes no a more of say when you sugar and I said sugars any normal also so and you're high enough say because over diabetes you're stuck in the middle and now unfortunately the year normal sign in your dose and most of us know when I then you stay Nti nhwehwɛmu nso asa me yɛn ho sɛ saa pre-diabetes no nso so no sɛ when treaty and I say you leave it alone na ɛwɔ ho saa na within 5 years now most people go ahead and develop the type 2 diabetes. Nti risk factors for pre-diabetes no ebi ni sɛ race sɛdeɛ ahyɛ sɛ na meka sɛ yɛ race ne yɛ ethnicity no betumi ayɛ risk factor no. African Americans, Hispanic, American Indians, Pacific Islanders. The main concern due to population, African Americans, and that's where we fall into that category. No, other risk factors, now apart from race, no, a bit to say will be our overweight, age. The moment I'll be the 40 whole corner. More specifically in the 45 and up, no, by itself, no air risk factor. So we will near be. And I say, oh, my me, and parents, and I say, we may be a type 2 diabetes, and also so by itself, no, as I'm put you at higher risk, and also so non-chain and not being physically active, no, and also so put you at higher risk, and it will be a or more frano more than 9 pounds. And that will be also what we call say gestational diabetes, the brow fair for short-term diabetes, no, so at risk. Meaning say about diabetes information, we already know most of it out there. Say no, just enkaya boy, and you go more into near man kitty be why you bet me prevent and as you be delay onset. There are different types, and I'm a the pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes or gestational or type 1. For the purpose of a next study, no, you can go into type 1. You'll be talking more about the pre-diabetes and the type 2, no, but we'll touch a little bit on gestational diabetes. Into pre-diabetes, the medical can affect the ABH tray. That's, like I said, is the most common form of diabetes that I always say. But the good news with pre-diabetes is that you can easily reverse it. If you do the right things, not you move it forward later. Now you can't no facts and also like I said in the medical can't be that say 8 million people in US today, no, and they work pre-diabetes and no chronic or more the ones that are known, but there are most out there is not known. And so big babies, I say, how will I know what pre-diabetes? There is a simple risk test that will be to me iron online. I have some of the forms a core area bit to me or reach out and meet me I get a form to you and I say where website I'll be to me a poorly risk test. So while person will risk risk of pre-diabetes, there is a risk test or here we are estimate my maximizer median. Into there are a couple of questions here with me answer for yourself. Into so a slide net that's what says here. Now will be say how old are you? Into what the age besha one. Into so say where the 40 and less now a 0. So at that point, or Rex na is 0. But the more I won't fear air anymore, and Rex na the air high will be already 40 to 49, a 1 point, 50 to 59, a 2 points, and a 60 and up, a 3 points. Until the more I won't fear anymore, now Rex na so a the air posture. A bad gender and so we a bema, we a higher Rex, we a bema a 1 point, we or by a 0. Until the okay down one answer questions nina. It being so to say family way to say question 4. See, do you have a mother or father or sister or brother with diabetes? So who answer yes to one of it, crana a 1 point, wouldn't be so a 0. Into who answer all these questions new year. Now on your right hand side, and a weight chart into what height. Now what your weight into what height and weight now back down why be more who say a 1.2 points or 3 points into what they are not ever can't be why any now no why a total score. It is a way with total score now that's a score on a 5 higher than 5. That means that we are at higher risk for pre-diabetes. And then say more that way now is your bad risk factors now which you say most of us we are already there. By age, by gender, and not by itself, not to even talk about your weight, and then basically your weight, what they can't want not just say already you are already in the danger zone. A cause of pre-diabetes. So maybe say a cause of pre-diabetes, not necessarily say exactly not make us say, oh, we not a cause, but it comes down to genetic it kind of a predisposition. And I think so no risk factors are yabobobo edini yabobobo suni nyinano and no na a causal and I say causal pre-diabetes no. Yenhwe numbers kakra ewa ha say me the number me the chart we say to so or you will green for normal and orange and red and which is the diabetes ankasa. Into you know this is the fasting numbers. Fasting blood sugar no say obia or fasting blood sugar 99 or less and only the normal blood sugar. The minute I'll buy to 100 between 100 to 125 a pre-diabetes. And so technically no, you don't have diabetes yet, but look at the difference. It's only 1 point. Into no be all diabetes no is like 126 and more. Into Sebia call appointments now for Sebia fasting way 125 but the issue and then it say just that one day now we'll call appointments no and not will fast an 125. But guess what? Days I won't call appointments now what were your fasting numbers? And no went to me home because you only know that one day now a day will call and unless it say will be sorry, I was checking the sugar and a bit in your say, oh, during the course of the week and I'm a fasting say you can't fasting blood sugar. I know saying we go for the morning, which is true. Your morning is your fasting blood sugar, but it has to do with the hours. The hours of fasting, which is 8 hours. And this will be open as a night shift, for instance. Nase, me say, or the last time we did a meal, was like 2 a.m. for instance. Now 2 a.m. then we did now wabe fie, and wabe da kakran me fan say was sorry be 6. So what's sorry 6 now the last time you ate 2 a.m. it's only 4 hours until so at 6 o'clock blood sugar it's not going to be accurate and on your fasting you can fasting blood sugar now it has to be 8 hours of not eating and when they eat fasting. So what's around papa anyway did now say me say oh say me pay fasting blood sugar if you also around up 9 we did see a bebo 5 or 6 horn say when did if I check the sugar at that time now, it's still considered fasting because 8 hours has gone by to diagnose it will be pre-diabetes no, and yet just the fasting sugar and we usually also go for what we call A1C, that is the diagnostic. A1C level no a percentage of numbers be, but what that number represents then it say average blood sugar over the last 3 months no. And non a blood work no, I calculate ne this number no ayede ama. It is A1C 5.7 and below which is normal. Below 5.7, sorry. But pre-diabetes is 5.7 to 6.4. And then by the time I hit is 6.5, and I just say you are full-blown diabetic and I say you have diabetes. Symptoms of pre-diabetes. Because of pre-diabetes, when you're normal, also when you need diabetes, because they are in the middle, hardly will you see nipa no ebe show any symptoms. Like diabetes in general, you will go years and years, not edidi will read anymore. A lot of time, by the time you've been with diabetes, not some of the organs has already reached the damaging points be answer the diagnosis into pre-diabetes, you don't necessarily see symptoms, but there's one skin changes and I said discoloration are very common with or more pre-diabetes yet umuni diabetes no. One of them is something that we call acanthosis or nigricans no. Just discoloration and usually happens around the joints no. To bones there will be our joints no. Not a horno eye darkened. We know a light skin to we know when papa my mean for dark skin, yes. Into this is how you see it. It usually happens around areas around your neck, when in chain has say and those areas and our knuckles no. But mind you, I know that there are other things like skin creams and stuff like that, and to be to my cause or something similar like this. But we're talking about beer or need way all of a sudden as I was say gaining weight now weight gain not wash still no need that. Now all of a sudden these darkening skins what these specific areas it's good to look into say making sure that you don't have pre-diabetes, say between lead to type 2 diabetes. Make can be big to a for gestational home. Gestational diabetes, na your diabetes, they happen and brow by it and affair through. It's never so what type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes now when your man is not considered gestational because you already have diabetes. But this in particular now is to people are almost they didn't have diabetes before they got pregnant. But during the course of the pregnancy, you know, not or gestational diabetes. No. Gestational diabetes, a lot of things behind the scenes that happens. Already, you know, there's hormones that some of the hormones in the system, you know, it shall boost to up. And then there's increased demand for insulin. The insulin, the idea, and not your body, no, it produces not a control your blood sugar. No. Into your pancreas, then it produces insulin. Into your bra, your sugar be control, and that insulin now, kasana I work it, I counteracted that effect, you know, not I work it to bring the sugar down. But bro, these numbers, it goes really high. But so in a good way, say, and no also be try to fight it to meet that demand, you know, to bring the sugar down. But unfortunately, you know, for some pregnant women, their body is not able to do that. Into the sugar level is so high, say, the insulin and the produce no intimate the end control now when you start gestational diabetes no, but it's very common with people with these things, which is the risk factors no. Obia said you're overweight and I say obese, when you're physically active when the pregnancy more, obia previously no the previous pregnancy when you have gestational diabetes, and obia our pain and the body more than 9 pounds. All these people no. And obi or high blood pressure and a history of heart disease no at risk for gestational diabetes. And PCOS no can be a found a polycystic ovarian syndrome. One of the common hormonal imbalances with some women. Now, what happened is hormonal imbalances what it causes is also a lot of menstrual irregularities. Or bad period when you're in a period that is so irregular. By so doing, now start affecting ovulation. And then in the long run, now cause the most common is affected or baby to me affect a fruit. And almost was PCOS and so no. Almost fair for now there and also a higher risk for gestational diabetes there. Can't the same in skin discoloration and which is the darkening of these areas. No, it's something that we call insulin resistance. It's a bra will be what's that insulin resistance. No, you will also see this skin discoloration. No, it is a obia or PC OS. No, population are almost at risk for gestational diabetes. Now, once again, Africans, we are right there on top. Asians, Hispanic, Native Americans, and these other native signs and symptoms. So will be more gestational diabetes. Now, a very dicey and that's difficult to differentiate between obia when you're gestational diabetes, no, because it's most of the common signs and a pregnancy especially getting to the 3rd trimester, no, already is putting pressure on the bladder into one into the basana. By that, and it's difficult to say a pregnancy and a just on 10 times and I say a sugar and an ISA. Of course, there is some part of the pregnancy and by 24 weeks they will do a test. But before that, not when you saw signs here, what's a call now we they almost check you for sania meaning and other diabetes signs so no it is say the commodore 10 blurry vision now when you tingling sensations one sano. Obi or what gestational diabetes, so maybe say when treated okay, so a lot of times when people with gestational diabetes, if it's not treated, the baby now end up being the one who is being mostly affected in the sense that we call it macrosomia. It's just huge babies. And you know about you kind of say your community and now say in culture now, I know say you pay big babies. Obi ohwa owo kra na sa kra na 6 pound kra, they think so there's something wrong with the baby. Meanwhile, the 6 pounder is a normal weight. We're looking for the 10 pounders. I can say, oh yeah, cry the yes, we're healthy, we're looking good. Your culture, and that's what for us, looking good, and that's what we want. But not necessarily healthy, because it's a macrosomia babies, and as a baby is not fatty baby, that's what we call them. Babies not almost yet that big, what happened is, apart from complications, because our friend is something, the mama will end up having something like C-section. And also non-chain so for so be vaginal delivery, a bit me also some fractures be occurring in the shoulder, with some shoulder dislocations, any other things. Apart from that, now but friend because it's all die of no anymore, or that high sugar, high concentrated sugar level in the blood, and if we ever placenta anymore, the minute our friend be better area as a bit free womb in my better hopeno. Now, of course, what we call hypoglycemia shock, because of what that sugar anymore. It's when you're free when now buy and any sugar will form, and babies like that, they end up staying in NICUs for days. Now, or my the arthritis hypoglycemia. Type 1 diabetes, like I said, because of the topic we're doing today. So we'll go straight to type 2 diabetes. The type 2 diabetes, facts are about 90 to 95% of diabetes is mostly what type 2, and the other small percentage, type 1. On some medical say bra bedi dia na say aduane beto yem no sugar level goes up now while body pancreas never produce insulin now lower sugar net down. But people with diabetes now, what happens is that they develop what we call insulin resistance. The insulin resistance now quite say they are producing the insulin. Nipeduane bomb they produce insulin is either say it's not enough, and if it's the kakrane be producing and yes sensitive, there is a resistance, so intimi and knock sugar net down the way it's supposed to, and then that is how come the sugar not doesn't get controlled now when you're full-blown type 2 diabetes. Now after that point I'll be require medications and other things to bring it down. Risk factors for type 2 will be our overweight. You can have more fatty tissues. Into mostly the fatty tissue it causes a lot of insulin resistance. They are around the abdominal area has the onset there is fat distribution. Some people they're lucky when they gain weight, it goes to their hips, their butt, which is mostly young Africans. We're lucky in that sense. But then at the same time, the abdominal area, that is where most of the insulin resistance, fat network around your waist, that is where most of the problem is. Say that most of the risk factor for that type 2 diabetes. Now you just take a tape measure or measure waist for Obama. If the waist circumference, which is around the abdominal area, if it's larger than 40 inches for a mema, and Oban so no larger than 35 inches, HSL we are at risk. And I think so no medical can be all pre-diabetes and be already 45 and up, and I have about we know business so that. And you share a race group now, so we are just a percentage to show percentage of that particular ethnic group or more risk. Or here American Indians say 15.9, but me focus here the blacks, which is us, is 13.2, until we are also still up there. And at PCOS now me can't and also so the same thing, and also type 2 diabetes. Sleep. Obi a under untimi enda year, disrupted sleep, and also so after a while, what it does and then say it also increase in insulin resistance. And in the moment test our word multiple times insulin resistance. A bright causes our resistance, and like I said, and they are kind of correlated. Now and also so I increase with chance of getting the type 2 diabetes. And the people that smoke also smoke directly causes insulin resistance, and by so doing then also why they ama risk for diabetes now cause stress. Will be a stress until they be a stress. It's not just about say, oh, my stress out. It just when you stress now, the hormones now away in nipadrianim no be to say the most hormone now are affected directly with diabetes now cortisol levels no. The minute I'll be stressed out no, your cortisol level no, it starts to go up. And the cortisol level, no, when it goes up, now that's what increases what the blood sugar, no, and thereby causing your risk for getting the diabetes. Chronic use of steroid, in your brain, unfortunately, be a ranking near the dendrobebrase, so bit is prednisone, dexamethasone. These steroids, now we use them a lot for be a arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and cofono, the dasign neurobebrase, so for the inflammation part of form cure. No, but no, what happens? They said the more I warn them, it also increases your cortisol level. And then by so doing, and also increase it or risks for diabetes. My A1C, no, assume that it's A1C, the minute I'll be hit 6.5, no, not just type 2 diabetes. About signs and symptoms of type 2 diabetes, it will be in Succommodin and 10-term or Johnson 10-term. A Commodore and 10-term or break a cry, it means also about blurred vision. But the other person can want some highlighting in red your weight loss. A lot of time in your patients, or to make them say, oh, if I used to weigh 200 pounds, now I weigh 200 pounds now crown will be undiagnosed me of diabetes that. But now I'm losing about 40 pounds. No, you're saying same or finding out so diabetes. So the caveat to that, and they say, on Senipedriano always try to find his own way to fix cause problems. No, and when the sugar level no ebe cholesterol no. When you pedriana kasano, it gets to a point that if the sugar is so high now, automatically no one so be try to getting rid of the sugar from your body system. Into no a quiet be fast why sudden and they say, oh Johnson 10-terms, oh Johnson 10-terms. And what happened is that the people who get diagnosed no, at the onset of type 2 diabetes, no, a lot of them will be someone catch yourself for the last 1 month to 3 months, no more lose most of them over 30 pounds without them doing any exercise. Or man, yes, should be some catch so man, yes, we lose this amount of weight, no, which is a lot of weight loss within 1 to 3 months, no. But it has to do with the fact say a sugar level no was so high, said the body try to get rid of it. Johnson now or Johnson that is what caused that rapid weight loss. And I can't want to say once you have diabetes. The issue with diabetes is not just the disease, complications, and also a near ma you just have sugar level not that high now the treatment prevention be beyond a year towards. Senka, you share the way diabetes currently is the 7th leading cause of death in the United States has said. Say you share the way COVID by now you share the rate in the pandemic way now. Say about say no, even pre-diabetes now make was in the beginning 1 in every 3. And this mupanka diabetes is infectious, and I will say so right now we are in a pandemic state in United States when it comes to diabetes. And there's been a need for us to just create the awareness, no, and about a home buy. Your home buy. Complications. Into complications, now diabetes, another thing with diabetes when it comes to complications, is a bit say it can affect almost everything. If we would me it causes different retinopathies, a bit is a retinopathy, in your way. Make kind of simple. Sugar and cholesterol and I say the nerves now what nerves now connected to when now cause blindness. It being so stroke, it cause stroke. And also, so there's a cardiovascular disease, which is the most common complications of diabetes, causing heart attack and all these other blood vessel diseases. And also, so with nerves, I mean, peripheral nerves, they're called pneumonia and ceremony, and every rate not a damage a horn. So, it is a washer, nipa be brain, no amputations are how do I cost to be brain, no, and it has to do with people who have diabetes because a brass nerves, a bear damage, and I say very real. A basa now you lose sensation of these places. It is a utia dear sheso crana, neuropathic kicking in a utia dear sheso crana, onte, a dear timid chawanase. Because a nerve and damage in a wanting to be over wounding a chassis and a cry away home to ube huno, not a due level be a winter moon, and your home she never sent me pan on a 9 and 8 was on my day, or mucha a day if free a horn. These pictures now, sorry, be a whole into me pictures this, but we're just using it for you to see, say, how when treated these high blood sugars now, how it may cause some of these problems. And the nerves, going through our legs and all that, and damage. This is what happens. There's no blood flow going there. It's not necrotic, meaning say, I whoop and I eat into more. Basana moja be inflow to the worst case scenario. And it's all my day will be lose one nine. There's other skin issues and so it's bacteria infections on the skin and a whole bunch of other skin issues and so can happen. After a while, so do diabetes check for a while, they start getting these discolorations to picture now media to as a brownish now to talk in the panena. People develop blisters and the other ones was sole of the feet. So another thing is urinary tract infection and as a UTI. On set medical can say a sugar and a cholesterol sana a damaging nerves. And so what happened is said the nerves and I say control your blood and Amaya Johnson. Obia diabetes ne didn't musa and a basana or be Johnson dear, but or Johnson and me empty blood and in an abiakem. Into the bekemono after a while, no bacteria no iodine, I build it up in there. Now it may travel up all the way to the upper part of the kidneys, no, na feno, also sa UTI, no, and also so lunch and it may affect muscles, no, for we know, it may urinate, you know, te basa na, untimi John's ordinary incontinence eba, untimi intimate control, to be who one can hope over Johnson when he and I said Johnson bit me aba, and our bra own feel GBR. Other complications are a brain. Most of it, no, they don't talk about it. No, is with the diabetes, not yet something that we call erectile dysfunction. It for men, no, after a while, no, sebio or erectile dysfunction, if I say, in no, ne hunti means sorry. I mean, putting it that way, ne hunti means sorry. Obi or hornoma or names or diabetes, but ne hunti means sorry no ba be check you be bana or be check it ne hunti means sorry ne horno be fine I'll say oh or diabetes. Like I said, because our symptoms be and shed ni hornom no from the beginning it's ne did do with the names by the time I'll be most diabetes and not say in your be brave. A man so affected in a different way about sexual part. Say a review or by any pedria musana, what happened they say a many difficult say or by any bit to me any lubrication and I said no bit to me a for a bra or ne bear my share with dear a dear be man who to me a for now I promote to sexual activity no to me and for now why dry. Last of the complications I make hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar. Honestly, I can high blood sugar be brave. Obi or diabetes, no, after a while, no, when the nerves are damaged, and sometimes they get to a point where low blood sugar and it comes in. When we say low blood sugar is less than 70. Into no almost me getting these complications where almost sugar drop it, and the drop in so trust me, low blood sugar is sometimes way scarier than the high. No? Sometimes it can go as low as 10 or go into coma. And also so the most dangerous part of it is something we call hypoglycemia unawareness. And when you're the sugar echo form na own feeling na on teffe, and only you're more dangerous. By the time and the sugar echo 68 and oh shake it. It's a good thing. the good thing is say, and no be prompt to who say me sugar or for my checking me sugar and I mean be found. But when you have this complication of hypoglycemia unawareness, now they can go as low as 10 now or monterey. By then, no, I go into coma, not just say, we'll be near intubating and I say baby science, you know, hypoglycemia, not feeling it, no, and no, you're even more dangerous. And the last one, or DKA, which is diabetic ketoacidosis, and a very common with type 1s, but COVID by, and we saw a lot of type 2s almost go into this because in the midst of COVID now, with the infection rate, how it was the infection was doing to the body now, it causes like almost sugar. And at that point, people with type 2, their sugars were going way sky high. DKA, it kicks in when the sugar is super, super high. Now, of course, with dehydration, a whole bunch of other things going on. What's in the panafade now or fate, and never be brave, and of course, a basana, a medical emergency. Now, the omaba emergency. Until now, be moving on to your main thing for today. Now, you can't diabetes once in the brain. I know say a best sound they say you know, but so it was a you can the home quiet be fast why they near the seriousness and how I be fast why they about your home bite. You be moving on to the TLCs and that's a therapeutic lifestyle changes. And you might be to prevent this diabetes and as a bit delay onset no complications that it comes with it. It boils down to TLCs, lifestyle changes. A bit is a healthy diet, stress management, good quality sleep, staying active, weight management, and acquire your fast and manage your drugs. It's a kakra, which is a healthy eating. Once about healthy eating, I know say a lot of people, especially they go into different kind of diet programs and stuff like that. Yeah, before it's difficult to fit into that category because that diet programs, no credit into no say healthy eating. Now it has to suit your lifestyle. And it goes by moderation. It has to be variety, flexible choices. We'll be tried even at the tour. Say what you eat in private, you wear in public. It's na a balance in such a way say you bring all the necessary nutrition at the same time and you cut it down on the carbohydrates. I prevented diabetes and I say a delay in the onset of type 2 diabetes. Healthy eating, I don't know maybe kakra, but about diabetes, the main they affect you mostly when it comes to diabetes now is the carbohydrate content. The carbohydrate content, no, the issue with our African diet, no, is that the main meals carbohydrates no the ijina. And to balance all these things in such a way, say it's not like a diet program being a register, but the dinner kasa. I have portion sizes not okay enough say not the road down to diabetes. Like I said, unfortunately, no, that is how it is. Into carbohydrates, there were starches, there were fruit, milk, sweet, and a non-starchy vegetables and so. Into meka adebia fa glycemic index wasem. Glycemic index I say okay. Emra obi aduane no wodi dia how a raising with sugar no and then your friend diabetes glycemic index. Into aduane bi ohone ka say low glycemic index meaning say udia at rate a bit raising with sugar no very low. And you medium and you high. And obviously, high glycemic index food, those ones are the ones that are good for us. Or more ranking, or more these are just numbers. Food that are high has high glycemic index, 70 to 100. But my example be a chat where a little bit tiny, but more the mommy and shad say with the young fat me used to just one example from this chart. So you fire more you cramp ye the beer once you will more be a friend adjustment rice. We use it a lot. What the bar what they compare another rice among 4 times you say friend basmati rice. So we'll compare these two. I want a basmati, it was yellow, it was medium glycemic index, and jasmine, a regular one, it was high glycemic index. I'm just bringing this chart in. It could be the same rice, but if you're picking the right rice, now we have brown rice, brown rice under the yellow one, white rice under the red one. You can be eating the same rice, the same amount of rice, but because of the type of rice you eat, it will determine how I bit me raise with sugar. So me brown rice and I say me white rice. Brown rice will not raise my sugar as fast or as high as what white rice will do. No na me pese yeshene so ewo sa slide away home. Obi National Institute of Health study about they did this research back in 2017. So what they did was omofa Ghanaian dishes, your most popular dishes, no omofa benku, omofa kenke. And I'm fat teas and I choose off and I'm fat fufu, but fufu no more 2 different kinds. I'm fat the normal one, you want to Ghana, and I didn't know fat the processed one that they say you deny you come. And one more study. So the study was to find out, say anyway, say no, the glycemic index, they raise it, me fancy your sugar and a more. Not almost compare these foods, but almost so what our chart we are mediator when I look at banku itself, so what across border, banku was the highest. My main for the max one, banku was 85, kenke 55, chozafe 84, fufu processed pounded one is 76, and processed one 48. It is just these ones no crack cannot. Banku tend to have the highest glycemic index, meaning that banku say, yeah, maybe fast small portion of banku say. That's a mesafa the same size of fufu ni say. Banku no, it will raise my sugar like almost twice as high compared to fufu no. And fufu no so probably fufu ni me no so interestingly no. Yeah, na pounded one. And no crumple was even higher. It was 76 compared to the processed one. But now, with the bankuno so compare kenke kenke was like what 55. Now the question will be like, why is kenke 55 now bankuno 85? This is a study that they did. But my guess is kenke, I guess just because of the way they do it, one way or the other, no, kenke seems to have a little fiber in it compared to bankuno. And this is how come they got these results. Food labeling. Food labeling, they have this label on it. Don't just let it go, especially when it comes to diabetes. Now, there's a number here that I want you to watch out for. It says total carbohydrates. Into amount of carbohydrate, total carbohydrate. Now, BB said, the Lay's chips here example, 15 grams. Okay, 15 grams now. Another thing I also pay attention to for every food nutrition fact is what we call the serving size. And only the first thing on top, we also serving size here 1 ounce, which is 15 chips. I'm just assuming so what for chips way, right? Chips no fire, and your 15 chips na newo, a bear 45. I'm just giving an example. A bear 45 chips, the woman now weigh 45 nina. Into the minute our berries are 45 chips near walk bag in the it affects the total carbohydrate network. Total carbohydrate also was 15 grams, but 15 per serving size. Serving size now so you have 15 chips. It is over 45 chips there. Now carbohydrate now worry and year 15, you have to multiply that by 3. That is a worry 45 grams of carbohydrate, which is a lot for just a snack. And to say you've taught Adriana, this is what I want us to pay attention to, which is the food label, and especially when it comes to diabetes, now total carbohydrate. You number and you compare with the serving size. Who serving size and then total carbohydrate now. It gives you an idea how much carbohydrate we put into our body. Yeah, for your fufu ya example. So for fufu now you on a box mode and a label now. What's the serving size na half cup and yet 1 full cup or half cup you keep 2 AB. And now half cup no it containing 49 grams of carbohydrate. But me Messiah who say ye can fufu ye mudu do saying and ye be fat just half cup say ye can and me a lot of time you feel say ya na ye de a gum. Enunti no say ufa fufu we ya fufu we no me hwe no almost serving size 6. 6 ne wom. Into no half cup no 6 no meaning 6 cups. Half cup no and on and then one 45 grams no. Just say ufa 1 cup of crana. What they find say 49 or 50 crana, where do 100 grams already. So these are the little things that I want us to pay attention to, especially when it comes to carbohydrates and how you beat to me. I prevent it and I say a delayed type 2 onset of type 2 diabetes. Like I said, anytime or the base carbohydrate count and then there is a simple way. Usually I use this a lot with my patients, the adults and elderly people, not hormonal. And only time I put online or check carbohydrates saying the plate method is an old way and it works beautiful. I know that now on a place that would be brave, will plate to be looking like platter. We're talking about regular size plate. Regular size plate no half of the entire plate should be your non-starchy vegetables and now vegetables are a bit fairly now 1/4 of it no. The other part, no, I your carbohydrate, not the other part, no, I your protein. So we'll follow this plate method now. It will be hardly will you go above say will be more carbohydrate than expected because here we are carbohydrate, which is in this picture, and it's just the rice part. And yet that much enough because we're dividing plates now, it's 1/4 of it. And by so doing, when to me in the more carbohydrates a bit cause so damage. Into now about a diet and nutrition, this is what I really wanted us to focus on. Apart from that, I can't stress one center stress and so increase diabetes. But of course, there's a lot of stress management strategies out there. It be a relaxation, a yoga, a better camera, you'll be music, no, okay. Anything you can do to bring the stress down so that the cortisol hormones will not go up and do what you can. Of course, there are certain stress you can avoid, but the ones that you can avoid, try to avoid it. All right, sleep. You can sleep once them say when you're sleepy, yeah, and also insulin resistance leading to type 2 diabetes. No, good quality sleep helps, goes a long way. Exercise. Okay. So exercise about diabetes, there's a lot of exercise, MIA in preventing diabetes. I say a lot of times the exercise that we have one goal, we want to lose weight. Fine, beautiful. We lose the weight, it works well. For diabetes, it can knock your numbers down dramatically. But even if we exercise, now one lose weight in sweat. Don't stop because this is the key to it. So we exercise now we once that can insulin resistance once your pancreas once they produce insulin and because of the process with type 2 diabetes and all that there's insulin resistance. But bro we exercise now what it does to that insulin now pancreas they producing it makes that insulin now pancreas produce it makes it very very sensitive. Into that exercise process no and make that insulin no very sensitive. It's even though you're not losing the weight said you will see pen on back because the more aware no insulin now will produce is sensitive enough to knock your sugar down. You can have somebody who weighs like 300 pounds but then they don't have diabetes. They walk every single day. They walk every single day. They are not losing the weight, but they keep walking and they do not have diabetes. But now, based on the weight, we're like, this one, the diabetes, was proper. But because this person is very active and is walking every day, insulin can crave, even though our fat now causes insulin resistance. But because our exercise, can crave now. the body in air producing is sensitive enough to knock the sugar down. So they will be walking around big body, but no diabetes. And you know, exercise has a long way to go when it comes to diabetes. And if you most watch, say exercise no, and you say it be a ne kɛseɛ biara po kɛkɛ. So with me at least a minimum of 30 minutes a day, 5 days in a week. That alone is good enough to help you with insulin sensitivity, and I say preventing type 2 diabetes. That is what the recommendation is. Now, say a bus will lose weight there, you may have to do more than just 30 minutes walk. You may have to do what we call something like a resistance exercise, where I'll be pija any other things to help you lose the weight. But as far as diabetes and how I will be to me are preventing it, that minimum, the 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, that's good enough to help you. We also study about watching TV and stuff like that and how it affects us. I'll say every 2 hours, be now best spend watching TV instead of doing something active enough, being physically active, increasing the chance of developing type 2 diabetes by as much as 20%. That is a lot. You can't TV, not a TV encounter, but people sit down like on their phones and browse or more to phones, so social media. Wait months now for a good 2 hours, no movie. Now it was social media, but could be all the sorry nante would have done them a lot of good. And the cautions about exercising. So I know what your health history is. I know see I can't exercise myself, but yes, oh sorry, yeah, one jump in, what shall I say, exercise, no. But what you exercise, there's other cautions to take. When you're doing exercise, you have to avoid dehydration because it can cause a lot of problems. To make sure say oh you exercise, of course, so anything like that. It's more diabetes that when it comes to exercise now. Because it's hormonum other endro to help the diabetes now. And what's the something like fast acting carbohydrate, which is a sugar, candy, nesania manufactured because so no my drone and I'll call exercise now. Once a drone is working, exercise also is working. And a drone and exercise now, they seem to be doing the same kind of work. And because our diabetes that now one no more drone. Now I start stepping out to quiet exercise now. Make sure so be check with sugar and find out what quiet exercise now. Oh yes, so keep his snacks with you because chances are say we sugar bit my drop it because one on my draw. And I will say exercise. And two of them now, they are doing the same thing. During exercise, now what diabetes are, you're very careful, check your sugar, make sure say what will carry these fast acting sugars, not be to say candy nisania money with you now sugar drop here now fat. And waiting so the account was if you more actually more say we lose weight say obi it will lose weight it may decrease the chance of getting diabetes by half. Weight management is pretty straightforward. It's calories in, calories out. To say be able to maintain your weight, would be 2,000 calories a day. And what's the exercising? So we now to me lose what 2,000 a day. Then you balance the weight. If you want to lose the weight, then you have to actually burn more calories. Into drug management, Yankan was in PDA, but this goes for Omwa Sebio, they're already diagnosed with diabetes. No, make sure that the way they told you to take your medications, you do. But let me mention this, there's a lot of other alternative medications out there, herbs, and in Yamabibre. I'm not gonna say they don't work, they work, but what's all my doctor aware, so won't know any other thing. They be more at different teas, herbs, seeds, and Yamabibre, who do be bread to me, add this sugar buffer. It be quite very potent, more than pills now or mono. But the issue comes when you take any the doctor and swat trauma now. We put yourself in danger where we should a bit more drop you way too low. And also so your idea was our sharing. So we be sir, please my doctor asante. Few recommendations said a kind of screening. By recommendation, we have to screen. Screening is very important. So there you can age and you can risk factors no. So when you're D40 a whole corner, screening, A1C, or your blood work annual, make sure they check it. It doesn't hurt. Oh, history of diabetes will be money, all that. And they don't wait till 40, from 30, go straight ahead. Mama check A1C to make sure say you don't have diabetes. Because if you catch it early, it will pre-diabetes state now, kind of before, pre-diabetes can easily be reversed. It's just a matter of changing your diet, few exercises, and boom, you're back to the normal numbers. As to train our the full-blown diabetes now. And these are the ADA recommendations, like I was saying, the 45 and older. And they tell you every 3 years, but honestly, you can do it every year. There's no problem because a lot of things change. And I'm Francis so Eddie hormone. Gestational diabetes and I make and now will be now we are 4 to 12 weeks now. Go right ahead and get tested for diabetes to make sure say we need diabetes. And the immunocompromised one is stay on top of your vaccinations as well and be compliant with medication or diabetes. Like I said, glucose tablet and fast-acting drinks, keep it alongside. Oh, baby, you never know when your sugar will drop. You might need it. Always check your skin to make sure the skin problem be developed here. The earlier you catch it, the better. Because it says that people with diabetes, it takes forever for the set or healing. And then all diabetes, so obviously keep monitoring your blood sugar. If blood sugar is not said, I will check it more. If it's more than 200, don't wait. Call your doctor. What check here is in the 200. They can increase your medications. They can tell you exactly what to do. And may the time no error on the pant. But the baby see her na yebisa questions na. Yet to me, Eddie boy, and said, yeah, if I code to be free, yeah, my Ellen White, and then maybe or trail selected messages, letter 17A, or say, train the people to correct habits and helpful practices, remembering that an ounce of prevention is of more value than a pound of cure. Lectures or studies in this line will prove of the highest value. Amen. Senya Mr. Onsha Somaye. Na yintime emfa emoye bra. Maybe a line for questions. Thank you.
Amen.
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 So obi wo question obetimi ebisa. Obisa o question be sure say your communication phone be makwan ama wetimi ebisa straight up. Yes, also obetimi actual comment section ho. Ama me read it ama yes nothing. Mr. Say na ye be a line ni tuma e be the yense. Inti Mr. say yendum ye we no for now. Make us man see na communication phone say possible na betimi aye no one after the other. Obetimi so raise your hand also up no amount chance say raise your hand into o click on that you be want say raise your hand na afi oma bio no betimi akasa if I try your train questions.
I think say nipa me no a page our mansa.
My question is TV channel. I'm say okay BB says studies be say obi say be 2 hours every TV to us so I'm say emma the chance say obi to me anya type 2 no a kosro emu pi o ho a enya dade kura be TV no but programs be or what to say be a member no be a wrestling just a juada or person wrestling and it will take you be a 2 hours man I said more it is be once a week I will share wrestling for about 2 hours or more no still and not be to me increase your chance if so and then I'll be to me yeah bra will share TV no now so over to me and minimizes risk no.
Okay, but that's a part. Yes. Okay, so we'll share program visa once a week. So the issue with the 2 hours now, with that study, what they were referring to now is more of long gain. So over here no that long now, it will be better say obe take breaks in between. Even though 2 hours doesn't seem much, but so with me yeah, if you over 30 minutes, be now sorry 1990 now that will do you more good than say obe 2 hours straightforward. I know so this example, and sometimes it even comes into your way of worship, to see your sorry, your long sitting and they say this. So why are sorry activities? I like it because yeah, the normally most sorry now what's not say now we say now all those little things now it helps. It's in as far as say you can watch your 2 hour thing, but we'll take you breaks in between, it will help based off that studies. Yeah. If I just set my answer question.
Annie.
Okay. It
If
does.
I show Eve also, Pajanis, and Pachovis Macasa.
That's it. Thank you for a wonderful presentation, Eva. My question is for the polycystic ovarian syndrome. No, can it go away? And if it can, what lifestyle modification, like weight management, or what else can we do for it to go away, if it can go away?
Thank you. So for PCOS, no. So what they usually do then is say, I would say I wouldn't say it will go away completely, but there are treatment for it. It goes back with lifestyle modifications, setting our kind of weight management, and then we have medications that we use. It also has its own side effects, but your medications be to say birth control pills. It's me managing PCOS symptoms, but I've seen people are almost used to just like you said, weight management, eating healthy diet, with just a little small doses of these birth control pills, and then after a while, they don't seem to have the PCOS symptoms anymore. They may still be diagnosed as said they have PCOS, but then the symptoms they don't have it. Pacho, may you open share? Sure, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
If I show Linda A, wait me Macasa.
Pacho, me that's it. My question no. Ɛwɔ baabi a na woka nkwalaa deɛ no sɛ bi a nkwalaa no soso no ɛwɔ mu a ɛhɔ no menim sɛ wo ama detailed explanation but mpɛ sɛ mehu sɛ nkwalaa so tumi nya diabetes a ɛdeɛn na ɛsɛ sɛ yɛyɛ a yɛde bɛboɔ mu kwan bɛn na yɛde bɛfa so treatment na bɛyɛ sɛn Pacho. That's it.
So emofra so this is what happens. So abofra no me find say now gestational diabetes and I say over 9 pounds and 10 pounds no. What we recommend is say pediatrician now or abofra no. Call appointment now, abofra ne ba now call appointment now. The pediatrician has to be aware of that information. Say pediatrician or abofra are aware of that information. The first 2 years, now there are other tests to be about appointments or obey yet in specifically when it comes to diabetes. It happens between the first 2 years. No obey sadian. So if those labs are normal and we abofra brabama. However, no abofra it doesn't necessarily mean say obenya diabetes, even though if you match say obetimianya no. But about diabetes with a morphine, a lot of times they happen under 10 years. Most of it are type 1. Type 1 I am and only a more genetic no probably in fact a morphine and I say gestational diabetes. Those ones just genetic issue it happens where pancreas is a little bit defected in a way that I say in a way, your pancreas not but it means produces a friend say insulin. If the beta cell be your pancreas name, that beta cell no I say it means produce insulin and to sample for they need insulin for the rest of their life. They usually type 1s and they require insulin for the rest of their life. Most of them type 2 that happen after age 10 hormone air hormones so we start them with diet. So when you're type 2 now, we start them with diet and exercise. Into no obey no bear for 3 months or so, but the numbers still are, and the numbers are not getting better. Almost to say where you be the same form and your day start to walk. Yeah, may you question.
That's super, I'm sure.
If I talk about paying an idea, wait me, Kasa.
Medase mepacha o meso mebisa sɛ enuane na sɛ mante abetie wom mate sɛ yɛse abetie so so yɛ good etimi control like a good for saa carbohydrate no na mpɛsɛ mu sɛ no kra na nkruma so mate sɛ nkruma so yɛ good na mpɛsɛ me hunu how try
That's a Pamame answer Nkrumah the first. I'm glad it's said Nkrumah by Nkrumah are very, very good. Actually, Nkrumah under something that we call non-starchy vegetables. So offer 1 cup of Nkrumah, right? And kind of offer 1 cup of Nkrumah containing just about 5 grams of carbohydrate. But carbohydrate content be a 5 or less, no, you're from free food. They don't count. It's a bit made in Nkrumah as much as you want, but so far as I'm more than 1 cup, no, they don't even count. Into no, very good. Into say, obi or why say be uncle baby carbohydrate betea okay, with them. I'm finding example. If you are betea ni so na Nkrumah na egu ho ne dose, Nkrumah is gonna balance out a betea. Abetia study when and abetia and come here, but I'm just saying, say, ebia, say, abetia ne da hone in Kumane kahona, say, Kumane doors some more na. In Kumane, like I said, they don't count because it's say 1 cup and 5 grams of carbohydrate. We call them free food because you add in more free food. It's even if say abetia ne mpo mefa ne senka abetia ne mpo carbohydrate ne wom ne doors one because it's say in Kumane doors some more nintino. In Kumana Babe, how should I put it? About counteract the effect of abetian because in Kumana doors say abetian. Meaning to me answer our question.
Pachoane na me to aso sɛ me de bedi fufuo no abetie yesene fufuo ana me what diabetes no.
Okay. So, I'm glad so with the diabetes for so about all right. So on say about diabetes now, we do carbohydrate count, right? So what diabetes that when you any be no per meal no and what's that carbohydrate womb every 60 grams. And now say na me my example say fufu no half cup no kwa 45. Into so be our diabetes no 1 meal and what's every 60. It depends on portion size in this case. Into no over diabetes and what you would rather do no. Senka half cup no kwa fufu a powder no half cup no kwa 45. Into say will be our diabetes and say you obefa half cup na. And ke be better say will be cheap. Ne mum no wafa fresh plantain ya or monoana or ma blended ya fra. Now for wait me dia fra no wenya volume no kakra amana basro kakra ma at the same time no e wa bra won increase carbohydrate no because over half cup no kwa no and no kwa 45 grams and no will be our diabetes no, like I said no you shouldn't eat more than 60 grams of carbohydrate per meal. Until you have to find a way to balance it out. So obefa half na for body any day efra.
Ede me da sen me refi ba ko gari so am so obi a type mpesa me hu obi so gari no ya squeeze we ni nyina mpesa me hu se no so ye for diabetes patients ana.
Okay, so gari de kakra bi a menim fa gari ho na menim say starch. Into no, unless it say be a me who say be a gari na me fa 1 cup I contain. You say it's something that I can look it up or I can show you how you can easily look it up. But it goes by a portion. Gari meaning say straightly is coming from cassava, I believe. Into no only meaning say it's straight up starch, but it goes by the amount, you know, don't wanna fun.
Me da so pa.
Okay, sure.
Patrol, your question back also chat so. I say, what's the difference between diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus?
Okay. Alrighty. So onset diabetes mellitus is what we're talking about right now. And diabetes insipidus is not like diabetes now is a different thing. Rather no, it's something with some hormones that causes you to what they do, they pee more, but it has nothing to do with diabetes now right now. And we a different type of diabetes. We call it diabetes insipidus, but it has to do with it kind of simple. These hormones are what it does now. I should put it this way. It regulates the body in such a way so those people they pee a lot, and then a lot of time the only issue is with sodium. The mineral sodium. Now that is what their issue is. It has nothing to do with sugar at all.
If I saw Beatrice Powerful, so I was sure. Wait me, Kasa.
Yo, mpacho. Make I say, Ghana Women Ministries, omu say soybeans. Say yedi gu yembanche so yedi fra benku no mo ne ade a eboa ema soybeans powder no eboa ma carbohydrate no eba from meaning how true it is. Oh, ho knowledge bi na obeka kire.
Okay. So about soya beans, what I can say for soya beans, I don't say beans are ankasano. It goes under protein, but at the same time, under also starchy ways. So beans contain a carbohydrate, but they you kind of say the carbohydrate now beans and on it produce, and yet the simple carbohydrate, and yet the ones now would erase it with sugar and intensive now make maybe about glycemic index beans the type of carbohydrate near complex carbohydrate and no in raise it with sugar and 10 times because of the way yet the body not digested in raise it with sugar not that fast into the bad soya beans na and no na kakra metimi akafa and no hono meaning say answer our question there.
Obetumi aye nhwehwemu ama ye.
Metimi aye ama. Me try to.
Yamima yada wo nyina se. Menim say question bebre e wo ho. Me ho another question say I pop it up. But yamre na so enti question na ba no me kan. Say we na wo question na wanya akwan bisa. It's of a question nyina ma o woman ministry department. Woman ministry leader of what church now. Or for the bread yen e zona. Yenista iva they say by finding form. You better not so ate. Near the answers not their man up bro. If a possible say mama on an Asia contact exchange, the very some not with me and some questions now can if I show question I say how can we help someone who is diabetic and is non-compliant with their medication and does not follow diabetic diet?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Man, what's that question? A question. Very interesting because that's majority of my patients because a lot of times now, I know that I didn't mention it here. Diabetes itself, Nagasana, when people get it now right away, they go into depression because they have to change their lifestyle. Into your oncophobia or no, we anything on your only so on your compliant with the medications and the food and everything. But it's a day-to-day act. It's like we take what we call baby steps. And first of all, you have to find a nipa pepa. Like I was saying before, there are different diets out there, but there was also a nipa pepa. Now what to say one day at a time. One modify. The banku no pen or so enjoy banku they are fine, but there is a way I also bet me abuano in such a way say sa banku na ankasano. You better soccer cry. The way be fra said any can kuma and the kuma be fra ye be any say na carbohydrate content in so I day form. In no need there's any panic catch or say one no in how to help the person is a bit difficult, but a day to day it's a baby step. You have to go one day at a time. They be now in a people keep coming back to the hospital for the same reason. Sometimes, excuse me to say, it takes nipane losing a leg. I've had patients like that until sending 9 free horn. Then the horn they want to do everything. Eva, what should I do? This, that. But we're losing the 9 unfortunately, sometimes you have to let it go till it gets to that point. It's sad that I'm saying that, but sometimes obey you, baby, and still this is what they want to do. We try to get family involved. So nipa kono or family, I want to kasa, they omit my boy. You're not changing their diet, you're not changing the now, but you're working with the person to modify it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the question is doing us. Said I'm a kind of Bibi saw her, or the my asante, yeah, the Bemana, I'm an no, my. Yeah, did you my dear no quay, your best friend sister when the for sure our great at heartful. Not on the closing song, na my. Oh, yeah, enough is home ministry leader. And a day I said that ever bread, yeah, I was winning on painful was winning. Now, after your mammy Doris, so offers Ghana, as to the closing prayer, no, all right. In the sister Wendy, bachelor 18.
Amen, amen, amen. Hallelujah. Yeda onyankopon ase yie. Wone hwe sopa ne ne bamba a ode aboyen. Eye na dom ene na humobro na ode ahoahoayen abedru sa brei. Mefa kwan yi so ada North East passes nyina se ene asori mpanyimfo akwanya omode ma yen se ema so yemedi dwumadi etisei. Teach you first Ghana mpanyimfo ne asafo ema Pastor IB ne Pastor Sako de nyame enhyira mo samode mo online ema ne de adi dwuma. Women Ministries leaders nyame enhyira mo. Ewo kwan amafa so amaboa madwumadi etisei etimi akoso. Afei asida etoaso no koma ye nua ba Eva. Kwan nyame afa so na ne wa kyerɛkyerɛ yen. Yɛsɛ nyame sɛ wɔma yɛ ahoɔden na yɛnhwɛ yɛ didie ne yɛnyɛ exercise na nkyerɛkyerɛ a wodi ama yɛntimi mfa nyɛ adwuma kama. Wɔn a wodi yɛnim sundown ɛso no mu ɔbɔ mpaeɛ wɔto nnwom ma yɛ nyame nhyira mo. CB radio nyame nhyira mo paa sɛ mama dwumadie ɛkɔ life ama yɛn. Ɛma ɛwɔ so mɛma yɛwɔ so nyinara nyame nhyira yɛ nyinaa wɔma yɛ apɔmuden na yɛntena se enye na adwuma. Edi nyame enhyira ma mo nyinaa. Nyame nhyira mo yɛda mo ase.
Pamucho. Me pamucho abusianfo. Abusianfo me pamucho mama ye mom paye. Empire botiefo agya nyame. Nyame a woyamne na wadoye doso tumi ra. Anwumre asedane a yeye nkuto ne yede ma wodin. Ewa adesua kuni a wonam wodom so edi abre ye anwumre yi. Yeda wase se nede woyi ye nua ba Eva. Emma ye no wabekyerɛkyerɛ ya adesua kuni a tisei. Papa de yesre ne se koso na hyira wabaawa. Nyansa nimdeɛ ne nhunumu famma no. Ebre nyina biara yebeto ye nsa afrɛ no no. Wanya nimdeɛ aba abekyerɛkyerɛ yɛn. Sara ne yesre wo se ye ayeba yi so. Ensɛm a yebeti ye nyina asafo Yehowa. Mane na yadwunum ne yakoma konso. Na yemfa mmɔbra na fe Kristo. Enso so yayarie ya no. Yɛde ye mu ayarefo ɛwɔ diabetes ahodoɔ nyinaa hyɛ wo nsa. Anadwo yɛsrɛw frɛ ɔsoro mu soro. Na fe fa wo nsa ka yɛ baako. Na fe Kristo sa yɛ nyinaa yadeɛ. Na yɛmfa asedane a yɛyie ne nkamfo mma. Yɛda wase ɛwɔ yɛn zone yi mu. Mpanimfo a wodi wɔn mama yɛn leaders di yɛn nim yɛn nua ba Gloria ɛne yɛn ɔmo ka ho nyinara. Yɛde wɔn nyinaa ɛhyɛ wɔn nsa. Awurade yɛsɔ kɔso hyira wɔn na ma wɔn nyansa a ɔmo ne bɛdi zone yɛn mu. Ɔsoro nyansa nimdeɛ ne humu fa ma wɔn na fa dom wɔn. Sara ne yɛde leaders ɛwɔ women's ministries. Leaders ɛwɔ zone yi mu nyinaa hyɛ wɔn nsa. Yɛsɔ sɛ kɔso boa yɛn ne yɛn nyinaa yɛmfa ɔdɔ ɛmmɔ ɔdɔ mu yɛmfa mpia yɛn mpanimfo yi sɛ ɛbɛyɛ zone yi mu women's ministries. Ebetu mpɔn na kɔ anim ahyɛ wo din kronkron na anuonyam. Kɔso hyira yɛn safo hudoɔ mu women's ministries department nyinaa na nyine prom ɛnhyɛ wo din kronkron na anuonyam. Papa Yesu anadwo yi yɛkɔda o papa yɛsrɛw ɛbra yɛmfiri ha yɛsrɛw sɛ ma yɛmfi w'anim. Yɛsrɛw sɛ bɔ yɛn ho ban anadwo da suo yi mu. Yɛmfiri ɔsɛefoɔ nhyehyɛeɛ ahodoɔ nyinaa mu. Ma wabɔfoɔ no medi aforosane wɔ fie ahodoɔ nyinaa mu. Na sɛ wade pa ha ne kyee a Kristo yɛbɛda wase ne yɛaba abɛsom. Yɛda wase anwummerɛ yi papa sɛ watie yɛn na afei wobɛyɛ yɛ bisadeɛ nyinaa ma yɛn sɛ biribi wɔ hɔ ɛsɛ yɛsrɛ ɛma zone yi yɛsrɛ ma yɛn nsafo ahodoɔ yɛsrɛ ma asafo ma nyinaa ne yɛntimi ansra yɛsrɛ fa ne nyinaa fa yɛ adom na fa dom yɛn anwummerɛ yi ɛwɔ w'adom ɛne w'ahummɔborɔ kɛseɛ nsa da no nti amen.
Amen. Amen. The money last, I mean, I home whisper. See, think it's one. You want to determine on them.
Yehowa hwɛ mu na
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah,